Welcome back to the Shut Up and Work podcast. I am your host, the coach, and today I'm going to talk about part 2 of my dream job that turned into a nightmare. Now, real quick, if you didn't see the first video, please go back and watch it. That way, you're kind of informed and you're caught up with the details of where I'm about to go in this video. So with that being said, let's jump right into this part. What I wanted to do is give a quick summary of what I discussed in the first video, which was when I walked in and started working at my dream job, I noticed that there was no organization for this athletic department that I was working for. Second thing was misappropriating the funds, the budget for our athletic department, using it on things that didn't pertain to athletic events or activities. Number 3 was the task and duties for the work studies, the part-timers, and the full-timers. Those were the 3 things that I discussed in the first video. Now, to move on to the straw that broke the camel's back, which would be how they lied on me. Real quick, let me paint the story. It was on a Friday, the end of February of 2024. I had been at the job almost 6 months by then. I'm in the conference room and we're working on something for this Easter festival that they had coming up in the next couple of weeks. So part of this thing was we bought these plastic Easter egg shells and we were putting candy in them so the kids can open it up when they do the Easter egg hunt. So in this conference room where I'm sitting, I'm about halfway at the table, and next to me on my left side is the volleyball coach and the volleyball coach's sister, both females. Then at the other end of the table in the conference room was our newly hired athletic director and the interim director who was previously overseeing her department plus our department, the lady I talked about in video 1, and the dean. Those 2 women were female. They're sitting at their end of the table having their own conversation, and we're sitting at our end of the table having our own conversation. Then everybody left kind of around the same time. They trickled out of there. About 30 minutes later, the newly athletic director, he comes back into the conference room. He tells me, "Hey, Don, can I talk to you for a moment?" I was like, "Sure." So I follow him back to his office. He shuts the door. Then he tells me that someone from the student success department said that I called them the B word. And I looked at him puzzled, like, what? Now, of all the people that were in that conference room, it was only one person that worked in the student success department. That was the intern director. With that being said, I replied back to the athletic director and said, "Hey, you were in the conference room when everybody was in there. Did you hear me call somebody the B word?" He replied, "No, I didn't. I didn't hear anything like that." I said, "Okay." So I whipped out my cell phone and I said, "Well, let's call the volleyball coach and her sister. Let's put them on speaker and you ask them if they heard me say the B word." So sure enough, we called them and the answer was, "No, we didn't hear nothing like that. That didn't come up in the conversation when we were sitting down talking." So there's only 2 females left. That is the dean and that is the interim director. I went home early that Friday and I was like, man, I don't want to have nothing to do with this. So I immediately reached out to HR, got a sit down appointment. And the reason why I did this is because you need to understand, Black man, when you're accused of something, it sticks with you. Even if you're falsely accused, it sticks with you. You see that all the time. You see famous athletes or somebody that was famous, even though they try to trump up a charge or something against them, and even though this person has 1,000 witnesses, this person has plenty of proof of evidence that they didn't do something, well, guess what? You'll hear people still bring up, "Oh, you were accused of this. You were accused of that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago." So it's very different for a black person than it is for a white person in that situation. So I was taking this thing seriously, and I wanted to know who said it. So with that, we had a sit down with the dean, okay, because we're narrowing down the field of who it was. And during this sit down meeting, it was me, the HR representative, and the dean that oversees both departments. And in this sit down, the HR rep asked the dean, who is female, point blank range, hey, did you hear Don on this particular day call somebody the B word or call you the B word or anything in that nature? And the dean replied, no. She looked puzzled and surprised. No, that's not in his character. I don't think he would have did something like that. So now the dean is off the list. The volleyball coach and her sister is off the list. The athletic director, he's off the list. So there's only one person who could have made up that false statement, who could have threw a rock and hit their hand. That's the interim director. I talked to HR. I told them what my concerns were, and I told them I don't feel comfortable working in the office, especially if that interim director is going to be coming around, because who knows what will happen. If I bump into her, she'll probably yell assault. If I stand by her, she'll probably yell that I'm stalking her. I didn't want to take that chance. I asked, hey, can you move me to another department, or could you transfer me to another sister college that was in the area and I could go and work in their athletic department? Who knows? Maybe they were more organized and had their stuff together. So anyway, we kept having this back and forth with my HR rep, and she told me no. So finally, I just decided, I said, I'm not going down this road. I see what happens, and you're not about to stress me out and have me have health problems. I packed up my laptop and all the other stuff that they gave me, took it in, sat down with the dean, met with her one last time, and I gave her my resignation letter. And I explained these same things that I explained to you. I explained to her that that's very dangerous. Whether somebody think it's a joke or whatever, it's not a joke, especially if you're a black one. I had to get out of there while my reputation was still good. And that's why I left my dream job that turned into a nightmare. That was the final straw. And then let me say this, on the last end, the good part about this story is within a month later, I was picked up by another sports organization. Happy, I get along. The place is more organized on what the business wants to do and where they want to go and how they want to grow. And we're using the budget for only athletic things, and the tasks and duties are defined of what each employee is supposed to be doing. In summary, all I want to tell you is this. If you find that dream job, you get called in for an interview, they're about to hire you, I highly suggest you be on the alert and you be looking out for, is this place organized, or is everybody running around in mass confusion? Is this place defining my role and what my tasks and duties are supposed to be? And make sure that this place is not doing anything that's misappropriating funds or any other things that is unethical and unmoral for an organization to do. With that being said, please drop me some comments below. Have you ever experienced some things like this at your job? Have you ever been blamed for something that you didn't do? And what course of action did you have to take to clear your name? Other than that, y'all know, please like, share, and subscribe. And for all of you out there, make it a great day and tune in to next time for the next episode. Peace.